Hello, so what we're going to be covering in this video is how you're going to go ahead and create Python programs and save them in a Py file. So while the interactive shell is good for running Python instructions one at a time, to write entire Python programs, you'll type the instructions into the file editor. The file editor is similar to text editors such as Notepad, Notepad++, or TextMate, but it has some specific features for typing in source code. So what we're going to do is I have a shortcut that I can go ahead and open up idle. When I initially open up idle, it's in the interactive shell because we have the 3 greater than signs prompt. What we're going to be doing throughout this course is we're going to be creating separate Py files. So in order to do that, you need to go ahead and click on File and click on New File. And basically what that opens up is the text editor where you can go in and type in your Python program. So the window that appears should contain a cursor awaiting your input, but it's different from the interactive shell, which runs Python instructions as soon as you press enter. The file editor lets you type in many instructions, save the file, and run the program. So the 2 ways that you can tell the difference between the interactive shell and the actual file is that the interactive shell window will always contain the one with the 3 greater than signs or the prompt. The file editor window will not have the prompt in it. So if we go back into our file editor, it just has the cursor there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create our first program. I'm just going to go ahead and type in the instructions. And after I show you how to save and run the program, we'll talk about what has been typed in. So first thing I'm going to do is this program prompts the user for their name and age and displays it on the screen. Okay, so I'll just enter a print statement, and again I'll be walking you through this code line by line as soon as we type it in. And we'll be done here shortly. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've entered my source code. So the first thing you need to do is save it so that you won't have to retype it in each time you start idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and click on File, and I will go ahead and click on Save As. The other thing you can use is Control-Shift-S to go ahead and save the file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick out a directory. So I'm just going to go ahead and save it as FirstProgram. And we want to save it as a Python file. That'll add the .py extension to the file. So I will go ahead and click on Save. So if I go out into my file system, click on my C drive, CIS 156, there is my first program that has been saved. So let me go back into the file. So the next thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and save the program. So again, you should save your programs every once in a while as you type them. That way, if the computer crashes or you accidentally exit from idle, you won't lose the code. You can go ahead and press Control S on Windows to save your file. So once we've now saved the file, so what we want to do is we want to run the file. So in order to run it, you would click on the Run and then Run Module. So I'll just go ahead, or you can just go ahead and press the F5 key. So it prompts me to go ahead and enter my name. So I'll enter Mike and enter my age, 59, and Mike is 59 years old. So your program should run in the interactive shell window that appeared when you first started idle, which it did. You have to press F5 from the file editor window, not the interactive shell window. So if I pressed F5 from this window, basically nothing happens. But if I go back into my program window and press F5, it'll go ahead and rerun the program again. So I'll just input the information. So when there are no more lines of code to execute, the Python program terminates. That is, it stops running. You can also say that the Python program exits. You can close the file editor. So if we go back into our file editor by just clicking on the X in the upper right hand corner. And I could go ahead and click on the X here, and that exits me all the way out. So if I want to go ahead and reopen that file, I can just click on File. You can click on Open, or you can go ahead and select Recent Files. I'll go ahead and reopen it up. So it's opened up in the file editor. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and we're going to walk through these lines of code. So for the first two lines, basically what these are comments. So in order to insert a comment in a Python program, you would specify the hashtag and then whatever you want to add as your comment. Comments are usually added to programs to go ahead and document the program. So if someone else needs to edit the program, they know what's going on in the program. And in idle, comments will appear as red. And Python ignores comments, and you can use them to write notes or remind yourself what the code is trying to do. Any text for the rest of the line following a hash mark is part of a comment. The next item is a print statement, and what that does is it displays the string value inside the parentheses on the screen. So what that will display is enter your name, and then the next line, the input function, waits for the user to type some text on the keyboard and press enter. So once you specify the input, then what Python is waiting for you is to enter a name, and once you enter that name and press enter, that name is saved, in this case, in the variable name. So the other lines, again, we have another prompt to have the user input their age. And then finally, we have a print statement where we're using concatenation, where they specify their name. And then in the single quotes, we'll print out is, and then we'll get the value that's stored in our age variable, and then we'll print out years old. So each time the program is run, when the user enters a different name and age, that new name and age will appear as it's being saved in the name and age variables. So this kind of just walks you through your first program using Python and writing it in the file editor. So that's all I had for this video, so we will talk to you later.